Usually when you walk outside in the morning in Calgary, there's that touch of coolness, that slight chilliness, but this morning, rarely, it happens rarely, a hint of heat instead.
Unless you're living in Jasper, Jasper area.
That's the exception.
The exception, where they've been dipping to the single digits overnight. Everywhere else, we've been in the teens, the mid-teens, so no relief. And that's a big part of why these heat warnings are issued, not just the day temperatures, but the night temperatures. I'll show that to you in just a second, but first, Capital Chev Sky Cam. We have some haze out there, we have some cloud cover, we have some blue, we have a lot of sun, and we absolutely have a lot of heat. So 33 degrees right now. Right now we're at 33.1 to be technical, and we got to 33.9, and the record for this day is 34.0 for July 10th. So close to tying a record. All right, when we look at the other temperatures, Brooks at 37 degrees right now. And again, it feels warmer if you're out in the sunlight. So these are from official reporting stations, and temperatures are measured in the shade. So when you're out in the sun, it feels hotter. Plus you add that little bit of humidity that we have, and it makes it feel even hotter as well. So we certainly have a lot of heat out there. This is why the heat warnings are in place, is because of our daytime highs, but also our overnight lows. Also some air quality statements in place around the Edmonton area, and then up to the north, there are severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. Jasper area, one of the only places in Alberta not under this excessive heat warning, and that's because they're dipping to those single digits overnight, which gives a little bit of relief from the heat. You can open the window, you can get a breeze in the house, but the criteria is for 2 consecutive days with highs at least 29 and lows at least 14. That's for the Calgary area and much of Alberta. But for the extreme south, the criteria is 32 high at least and a low of at least 16. So that or any warmer than that. And that really goes for Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, and then over to Medicine Hat area. And then it's a little more extreme onto the BC side, high of at least 35 degrees. So this is the criteria in place to issue this heat warning. And you can see it's in place for the entire province, except for the Jasper area, because they're getting the overnight lows cool enough. Now, things are going to change. This pattern is going to switch a bit. We're still going to have a good amount of heat. It's still going to be hot, but it won't be as hot in the coming days. This is also going to open us up to some instability that can creep in, which means late day thunderstorms are possible. So that's possible this evening in Calgary, and that's possible, as you can see these pockets here. This is a shot at 5 o'clock. You can also see the possibility even as we head through late day. So sunshine for most part for tomorrow, but then later in the day we have the potential of those thunderstorms developing in the foothills and tracking off to the east, and we could even see some of that in Calgary. And these will develop fast, very fast, because we have the heat, we have a little bit of humidity, and they could even come with hail, some of them as well. All right, let's talk about that longer range forecast. Capital Chev 5-day, 30 degrees for tomorrow, feeling more like 33 with the humidity. Again, the late day thunderstorm possible, and then temperatures dropping to those mid-20s for Friday, Saturday, and higher 20s by Sunday with the risk of late day thunderstorms.
Set a record.
Well, very close, Tara. In fact, we just about tied it. So let me show you our heat so far today. We got up to 33.9 degrees. The record for this day, July 10th, is 34.0. So absolutely close. This is the hottest day of the week. Tomorrow, yes, somewhat better, but still very, very hot, and still take all the precautions that you took out there for today. We are looking at 33 is what it will feel like with the humidity tomorrow. And again, we have the risk of a thunderstorm later in the evening, and we also have the risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow later in the day. Heat will regulate by the time we get later in the week, and I'll show you that coming up, Tara.
Hey, Danielle. Let's check in with Danielle again. We thought that we didn't hit a record today, but maybe we did.
Yes, last time we talked, no. Right now, yes, we have just reached 34.2. The record for July 10th for this day is 34.0. So there we go. Record heat today. Record heat in many communities, not just Calgary. I'm sure there will be a lot of broken records once again. In fact, in central and northern Alberta, there were another 13 records broken for heat just yesterday. So a lot of heat out there. This is the heat to take seriously. Just as we talk about these minus 40s in the middle of winter, and that's something to take seriously, this is something too. These temperatures are measured at stations that are in the shade. So when you're in the sun, it's even hotter. So there's not a whole lot of breeze in many communities. communities as well, so that doesn't help. We're also looking at severe thunderstorm watches and warnings up to the north, air quality statements up to the north and central Alberta, but for us in the south, we are dealing with just the heat warning in place right now, and you can see that in through many parts of the southern interior BC. The only place for the province not under the heat warning is Jasper area, and that's because they're dropping into the single digits overnight. So that allows for a bit of relief from the heat, because it's not just the daytime highs that factor into when Environment Canada issues the kind of excessive heat weather warnings. All right. Radar, satellite, you can see a little bit of instability starting to creep down here. There are thunderstorms that are just starting to form here. There is this chance we could see this in Calgary over the coming hours, but it's a smaller chance that it will creep all the way down to Calgary. But along the QE2, that's certainly likely as we go through these next couple of hours. And some of them could blow up pretty quick and even produce some hail. So take those ones seriously, because we do have a lot of heat out there, and in many cases, in many communities, we have some humidity as well. So things we need for those storms to get pretty dangerous pretty quick. Here's that ridge of high pressure in place. Today, the hottest day of the week, the hottest day of the next 10 days. But we're looking at this pattern shifting. So we're still going to hold on to a lot of the heat, just not as much. So we'll still be hot. We're also going to, this also opens us up to getting late day thunderstorms and a little bit of instability. So let me show you that for tomorrow. Sunshine for the morning, and then later in the day along the foothills, especially northern foothills, tracking towards the east, we have the potential of showers and thunderstorms. We could see that in Calgary, and we will certainly see that along the QE2 for tomorrow. Capital Chev 5-day forecast, still hot tomorrow, so still prepare for this heat just like you did today. 30 degrees for a daytime high, but it will feel closer to 33 with that humidity. Lots of sunshine, late day thunderstorms possible. Late day thunderstorms possible really for the rest of this week. Temperatures will regulate a little bit and get closer to normal for Friday and Saturday in those mid-20s. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle.
Here's your Capital Chev Skywatch camera. Ooh, it's hot at Stampede Park. You know, if you do head out, even tomorrow, yes, we're going to have somewhat of a difference, but it's still going to be a hot one. So you have to prepare for that. If you're heading out to Stampede Park with all the people, all the pavement, it feels even hotter than these temperatures. And this is record-breaking heat, my friends. 34.2 degrees is the temperature right now, and the record for this day, July 10th, from 1985, has been 34.0. So we broke a record today in Calgary. We broke a record, I'm sure, in many other communities. And heat warning, yes, still in place, except, of course, for the Jasper area where they're dipping below that into the single digits anyway for the overnight hours, which is giving a little bit of relief. That's factored into when Environment Canada issues the warnings as well. The daytime highs, also those overnight lows. All right, for tomorrow. Yes, still hot ones for tomorrow. 35 for Kamloops, 34 for Kelowna. This is regulating a little bit, but tomorrow is still a lot of heat, and take all the precautions that you've been taking. Stay hydrated, have the sunscreen, find the shade, all those types of things. 29 as a high for Edmonton for tomorrow, 28 for Rocky Mountain House. Down the foothills, we're looking at that development of thunderstorms, certainly possible, especially along the QE2. Olds down through Calgary, even Brooks could see some of this as well, and Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, even Cranbrook on the BC side. Lots of sunshine throughout the day, but those late day thunderstorms certainly possible. Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, highs of 36 for tomorrow. Looking at that Capital Chev 10-day trend, 30 tomorrow in Calgary, feeling more like 33 with the humidity, but we regulate to those mid-20s for Friday and Saturday. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle.